Aware basic space includes everything. So it includes the human beings and everything else, the entire magical display. It's just that whatever this magical display of descriptive phenomena are, none of them have an origin independent of aware basic space. So as long as we take ourselves to all our superstitions about who we are, then everything about our life is focused on us, this personal identity that we're trying to prove exists. So we are trying to constantly uphold this idea of a personal identity, I, me, and mine, and keep it comfortable. So all of the thinking and the emotional states and the actions of the body are all focused on this personal identity. The idea of a self, an individual self that's somehow separate from somebody else and needs to protect itself in this environment of the world. So we fear a lot of the things going on within us, our negative thoughts and our negative emotions that we can't seem to control no matter how hard we try. We might be able to neutralize them, but we can never get rid of them no matter how hard we try. And then we have other things going on that are just neutral or positive. And so we try to build up the positive and reduce the negative. And all of the life, everything about the awareness is all wrapped up in this idea of a personal identity. But the more we just allow the ease of every perception without getting lost in the filmic content of what's going on, the drama and the description and the elaboration, that kind of thing, the more we find that our body, speech, and mind is not limited to such a narrow focus. It's just like spending your whole life stepping across cracks in the sidewalk so you won't break your mother's back. Step on a crack, break your mother's back. Well, spending the whole life focused on the self is engaging in a superstition just like that. But when we find the ease of our own awareness and acquaint ourselves more and more with that, and for some people it's quick, for others it's slower, but it doesn't have to take long. We already are who we are. So once we know who we are, we can support ourselves in that becoming more obvious once we have the direct taste of it. And as we do so, we find that rather than our body, speech, and mind being this, we are vast as infinite space, and so is our body, speech, and mind. So our body, speech, and mind is vast as infinite space, entirely aware, and inseparable from compassion and wisdom. Compassion and wisdom that is the benefit of this whole of all of basic space. And how that changes the way we live our life is that we're not wrapped up in such intense focus on being someone. Of course, we're still someone. And I'm not positing something like non-existence or nothingness or emptiness. Those are all extremes. They're biases. They're definitely not enlightenment. They're definitely not completely perfect enlightenment. Even sometimes they're touted to be. They're anomalies of point of view. They're just they're not the conventional points of view or your perceptions, but they're just anomalies. They're more superstitious beliefs about what enlightenment is. And so the way that it works is instead of feeling tense all the time, we're totally at ease. We're at ease in all situations without impediment. No matter what the situation is, from extremely adverse to extremely pleasant, we're completely at ease. Everywhere we go, no matter who we see, no one's a stranger. Everything is us, aware basic space. And of course, everything about the body still continues to be as it is, whatever it is. Nothing changes, yet everything changes because we are no longer buying into superstitious beliefs about ourselves. Rather than having an entire life based on superstition. We grow more and more familiar with the reality of what we are. And as we do so, we cut through the solidity of all the superstition. If we try to analyze all the superstition, then we're still lost in superstition. If we try to transform it or make the negative points of view into good points of view, we're still totally lost in superstition. All we can do is do nothing and allow the ease of our being to become more evident. And in that is enormous potency beyond anything that could possibly come about through superstition, the superstition of limiting our human life, our precious human life, to some idea that's based on cause and effect in time and space. So it's just like the basic question to ask, would I rather continue the rest of my life being tense? Most of the time feeling that tension right in here that almost everybody has, or would I like to feel totally at ease? That's the basic question. Because you see, when we die, that's our opus moment of life. However we've been living our life, if we've been living our life as that tension of superstition, then we die that way. If we have been living our life as ease, then we've taken advantage of living in a land of jewels. You know, if we spend our whole life wrapped up in superstitious beliefs, we don't even know we're living in a land of jewels. It's just what's right here, just the spaciousness that is. It's so evident. You know, it's so evident. What your direct experience is right here in this room, right now, that's what you are. You don't have to grasp or struggle for it. You already are that. So what you experience right here, this moment, with nothing going on, that's who you are. That's what awareness space is. And that's what you are everywhere. It's you who's having the direct experience of it. That's your own awareness. You see, whatever you are aware of, awareness is the constant. Aware basic space is the underlying basis of every perception. So just know, no matter where you are there. So very simple, yeah. Very simple. Don't try to make anything out of it ever. It's easier than easy. Closer than close.